Hello everyone. I am Alice of KHR Arts and Cloud Orchid Publishing, and today I am going to talk to y'all about a nostalgic book from my childhood, Pharaoh's Daughter by Julius Lester. So this particular book was definitely a part of my ancient Egypt phase, as many of us millennials had in our childhoods, and of course this was during the particular time period where I was obsessed with everything ancient Egypt. This particular book was one that I read in elementary school and I loved it. And then as an adult, I was determined to hunt it down and put it on my personal bookshelf, and I found it. Amazing. This particular story is really unique, and I feel like it's a bit of wish fulfillment. It's definitely not something that's like, this literally happens, play by any means. But it is a fun idea for a story in that we have Alma, who is one of the Jewish workers in the city of Egypt in the time of Ramesses, and she is very familiar with his oldest daughter, Batya. And now they're both roughly around the same age and, both going through their own struggles as young people do of, who am I as a person and what is the purpose of my life and what does life mean? And, all of those questions that you ask yourself when you're starting to become a person and figure out your own identity. And the crux of this story is the idea of that Ramesses adopts Alma as his own daughter. So she becomes one of the Pharaoh's daughters, and she is thrilled to pieces about it, y'all. She loves everything about being Egyptian. She loves everything about being at Ramesses' side, and she loves worshiping the Egyptian deities, whereas her family worships the Jewish God. And so just this absolute rejection of everything she was and just completely putting herself in this new identity and just finding that that is who she feels she is in her truest form. Conversely, the actual eldest daughter of Ramesses, Batya, feels just like she doesn't fit in. She doesn't fit in. She doesn't belong here. She doesn't feel connected to the Egyptian deities. She doesn't feel connected to any of this. And so she becomes more and more ingratiated into Alma's old family until it gets to the point where effectively these two young ladies have switched places. Batya has completely embraced the Jewish faith. She grows her hair out. She starts covering her hair, all of that. Whereas Alma has completely embraced being Egyptian. She shaves all of her body hair off. She even grows up to start becoming a priestess and putting her whole self into worshiping these Egyptian deities, and ultimately also becoming like a source of advice for Ramesses the Pharaoh. So she is just so ingrained in the Egyptian society and beliefs and culture and everything. And it's just so interesting seeing the idea of these two girls trade places like that, just trade identities like that, and find that that is, in fact, their truest identities by completely rejecting their old identity and finding this new identity. And I feel like this book can be read so many different ways to help young people who are going through those kind of transitions in their lives with trying to find out who they are as a person and what about themselves they want to keep going forward into adulthood and the things that no longer serve them or never served them, and just ultimately finding out who they are, because that is a very difficult and turbulent process for everyone in that stage of life. And I feel like this story does a great job of handling that, and it's also just really fun to read. It's so incredibly descriptive, which is one of my favorite ways to read. I love stories that are super descriptive. It tells you all about everything that everybody's wearing and all of the beautiful things and all of the beautiful scenery and just all of the everything. It tells you down to the detail, all of the everything. So if you're the kind of person that likes very stark reading, this is not the book for you. This is highly detailed, we're gonna stop and smell the roses kind of writing, and I love it. So I had so much fun reading this as a kid, and I enjoyed reading it again as an adult. It's just as fun as I remember as a kid, and it definitely has that wish fulfillment factor of so many of those kids, especially young girls who went through their ancient Egyptian phase, the idea of Pharaoh coming out to you and adopting you, and you getting to dress up and be a priestess and la la la, just absolutely 9-year-old me would have lost her mind at the prospect of that kind of idea happening. So this book was definitely big time wish fulfillment in theme. And there are other themes that I feel that you can ascribe to it as well with whatever it is you want to get out of this book, but I do feel that that is the purest trope that is being presented here, as well as just, coming of age and all of that sort of things. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to give it a like. And if you're new, subscribe. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.